Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our latest edition of Dynamics Brew. What do we got going on today, Zach?
Today's brew topic is tips and tricks in Dynamics 365. So what do we have brewing? We have a view of overview, an overview of views, creating personal views, sharing personal views, setting a view as default, the charts overview, creating personal charts, sharing them, and then we're going to move on to dashboards. And we're going to show you how to create personal dashboards and manage your personal dashboards.
It sounds like some pretty great topics here for everybody.
Yeah. So let's get started. Well, actually, before we start, I just want to announce that if anyone would like a copy of this PowerPoint to use as a guide to replicate any of the tips or tricks that we discussed, just leave a message in the chat at any time throughout the session, and we'll get a copy of it over to you after the brew.
That's great.
So let's get started. In Dynamics 365, views define how a list of records for a specific entity are displayed. As we can see in the image, we are currently in the accounts entity, and the view being displayed is the active accounts view. When building a view is defined by the following four criteria. Columns. For example, as we can see in the image, on the account entity, the account name, main phone number, address, primary contact, and primary contact's email are our columns. Next is the appearance, such as the default width of the columns being displayed. The sorting properties, which determines how the list of records is sorted by default, and what default filters are applied. This determines which records will appear in your view. There are two types of views in Dynamics 365. We have system views and personal views. System views are views that are included with the app or that are created by customizers. They're made available to some or all of the users. As a system admin or system customizer, you can edit these views. These views typically have specific purposes for an organization. On the other hand, personal views are created by individual users. These views are only visible to the users who create it. The only way others in your organization will ever see your personal view is if you go ahead and you decide to share the view. Let's say, for example, that you frequently need to work with accounts that are located in the state of Ohio, as Ohio sales are specific to your responsibility. Naturally, there's probably not going to be a system view set to show the accounts that are only in Ohio in your system, as this would clutter the list of system views for others, and it just make it harder for others to locate the views that they need to use. So what you can do is simply create a personal view. To create a personal view for this example, first, from inside your desired entity to create the view, in this case, the account entity, select the ellipsis from the ribbon bar and click Create View. Next, define the criteria for your new view. In this example, our criteria consists of active accounts in the state of Ohio, so we define the filter criteria to reflect so. We select account records with status equal to active and address 1 state province equal OH for Ohio. On a side note, having standardization practices of data, such as using the two-letter abbreviation of states in the state field, allows you to easily and correctly query records. If we know by standard practice that everybody in our company is using the two-letter abbreviation, we know that we won't be missing any records when we query upon the OH. Once we have set our criteria, then we modify any desired columns by selecting the Edit Columns button. Once Edit Columns is selected, the Edit Columns box opens up and you can configure the custom controls, such as sorting and adding or removing columns from the view. Once you are satisfied with your new view configuration, then select Save As. Now you can name your view and even type up a description. Once you're done, save it. Now, to see your newly created view, on the entity that you just created the view for, in our example, the account entity, select the drop-down list to see all the views for the entity, and you will see your newly created view in the My View section. Once you select the view, it will now be displayed. And here we can see in our active accounts for Ohio, we only see the records that are associated with the state of Ohio. Let's say for some reason or another, a colleague will be assisting you on the Ohio accounts. As personal views are only available for your own viewing, if you want to share it with a colleague or a group of colleagues, you can simply click the share buttons. To share a personal view, first, we're going to navigate to and select the Advanced Find button in the top right corner of our Dynamics page. Once selected, the Advanced Find window will open, and you will then click the Save Views button. Check the box next to your personal view you would like to share, in our case, active accounts in Ohio, and then click the Share button. The Share Save View window will open where you can select the Add User Team button to add the colleagues with whom you want to share with. After you have selected and added the colleagues, you can now assign permissions to each. Once finished configuring permissions, select the Share button. It can be a pain having to switch views every time you navigate to an entity if the default view isn't the view that you want to always initially see. Setting a view to default forces that view to automatically display once you navigate to that entity. To set a view as your default, select the View dropdown and navigate to and select your desired view. Continuing on our example, in the image, we see the Active Accounts in Ohio view. Once inside that view, then select the View dropdown again and select Set Current View as my default. Now, when you look in the list, you will see the word default next to the view that you have chosen as your default. Now to reset your default view, simply select Reset Default View in the View dropdown menu. And here's a view bonus tip. As opposed to on-prem versions, in the online instance of Dynamics, you can expand any column directly inside of your view, which is super nice. In our example image, for some accounts in our view, we can't see the full account name in the account name column. We can just simply place our cursor on the right edge of the column header that we desire, in this case, the account name, and simply drag it to our preferred width. And now we can see the full name.
Thank you for all that information on views. That was very helpful. Next up, we're going to talk about charts. And what are charts? Charts present large quantity of data in your organization in a more insightful and graphical way. As you can see in our example chart, we have My Open Leads. This pie chart shows My Open Leads by lead source type. There are many different types of charts to choose from in Dynamics, such as columns, bar, area, line, pie charts, and funnel charts. There's also donuts, but I didn't see he put that on here because that's not a very common one that's used, but it is used in there. Like views, there are system charts and personal charts. So let's create a personal chart. How do we create a personal chart? Well, just like in the view example, there might be a chart that is specific to your job role and is not available in the system charts provided. Let's say, for example, you want to create a chart that represent leads by industry type, similar to the chart on the last slide, but this time we want it as a bar chart. First, from inside your desired entity that the chart will be representation of, if the chart isn't already showing, from the ribbon bar, select the Show Chart button. Then, select the ellipsis next to the chart name being displayed and select New. The Chart Designer window will now open and you can define the criteria for your chart. In our example, we chose the All Leads view, chose a bar chart, selected company name as our legend entries with the Count All option selected, selected industry for our horizontal axis label, and then named our chart Company Name by Industry. And when finished, select Save and Close. Your new chart will now be available in the drop-down list under the My Charts section. The corresponding list of records on the right of the chart will also change with the chart as you select different areas or columns. So in this example, if you select the entertainment retail industry bar in the chart, only the records associated with this industry type will display. To share your personal chart, because you might want to share your chart with someone, from inside the desired entity, if not already showing, select Show Chart. Select the ellipsis next to the chart and select Share. The Share User Chart window will open where you can select Add User Team button to add the colleagues with whom you want to share with. And after you've selected and added the colleagues, you can now assign permissions to each. Does this seem familiar? I think we just went over this with the views, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Once we're configuring the permissions, we select the Share button. And now we move on to dashboards.
So each time you sign into the system, typically you'll see a dashboard, which gives you easy to read charts and graphs that help you see how you and your team are doing with key metrics. The system comes with several dashboard layouts tailored for roles. For example, on the sales activity dashboard, you'll see the status of open opportunities in the pipeline, progress toward goals, open leads and opportunities, the sales leaderboard, and your activities. Dashboards are built with the following components: charts, lists, assistants, iframes, and web resources. Just like views and charts, there are system dashboards and personal dashboards. Let's say the system dashboards in your organization aren't very helpful, or are very helpful, but you would like but you would like to have another dashboard more tailored towards you. To create a personal dashboard, first, from inside the dashboard entity, from the ribbon bar, select Plus New, and then select Dynamics 365 Dashboard. Next, choose your desired layout for your new dashboard and click Create. Add your desired components by selecting the options inside each tile. For example, if we want to add a chart for new accounts by month, we select the chart component inside of our desired tile. Then we would select Account for our record type, Active Accounts as our view, and then New Accounts by month for our chart. Once we have finished selecting the criteria for our component, we simply click Add to add it to the dashboard. Then, just rinse and repeat until you have finished building your dashboard. Once finished configuring your dashboard, give it a name, select Save, and select Close. Your new dashboard will now be available in the dashboard drop-down list under My Dashboards. With personal dashboards, once a dashboard is selected, in the ribbon bar, you have the options to further edit your personal dashboard at any time, delete your personal dashboard if you no longer need it, set the personal dashboard as your default dashboard, share it with others, and assign it to others. You also, just like with system dashboards, can refresh all tiles to represent real-time data at any moment by selecting the Refresh All button.
One important thing to remember when we're talking about sharing dashboards, if you're using personal views inside your custom dashboard and you go to share it with someone else, personal views, personal charts, you have to remember that you need to share those personal views and personal charts with whomever you're sharing it with. Otherwise, they won't be able to see those pieces of the dashboard. They'll get an error message that say, you don't have rights to see this. And we always hate when that happens. All right, then. If you guys have any more questions, stick around after the presentation and we will be live to take them from you, or you can always contact us via email to info@infogrowcorp.com, through our website, or if you have a support question, email it to support@infogrowcorp.com, or, you know, if you're old school, you can always pick up the phone and give us a call. All right, and well, thank you guys for coming, and make sure to join us next time for our next Dynamics Brew session. We're going to be talking about security inside of Dynamics 365, and that session will be October 26th at 11:30 a.m. All right, stick around for a few more minutes, and we'll take your questions and any other things that you have. There'll be a link to register for the next session in the chat as well. And yeah, great. Have a lovely, lovely day, my friends.